Hello, Simon Dan and his many fans. I'm glad you guys found us. I do want to send you a message. This is not what you think. I'm not here to say that your leader, Simon, is dumb. I am actually new to his content. I have only looked at a small part of the video where he was talking about our video, and I'm sure it's a really good video because you Dan are definitely getting a lot of following. I'm seeing your videos pop up in the suggested feed quite often. I have yet to watch them, but I've seen a lot of them, and usually it's got your face. That's the way I recognize you. I didn't recognize you in this one because you have a hat on. You just look a little different. But that's you, Simon Dan, and that's a video that you did talking about me trying to debunk weather. In reality, I was not trying to debunk the weather, but I woke up in the morning and was going to see if there were any comments that I could reply to and send some messages and answer some questions and whatnot. And then I just noticed there was a lot of hateful messages on one particular video of mine and thought, wow, this is odd. I haven't had this kind of hate since the early days and before I was censored. So why are all these people finding my video and commenting and just being so mean? And these are some of the nicer ones. I tried to select some of the nicer ones and thought, why on earth would this happen all of a sudden? It's got to be some reason. And then someone said, "You've been Simon Dan. You need to go check it out." And I'm like, what the heck does that mean, Simon Dan? Dan, I don't know. So I typed in Simon Dan, brought to the channel where I found this, and what I was doing, he was replying to a video that we did where we were talking about the weather or the imagery, not necessarily the storm being fake. I never said the storm was fake, although there was some funny news things out there where they were trying to make it seem a lot worse. It was real and people did die, but I was just comparing the curvature of the Earth with the curvature of a globe seen from the ISS, and saying that that the if you shrink it down pretty much, the curvature no longer matches when you shrink it to scale, and so that the curvature in the image was bogus. It was false. That's all I was saying. And yes, that does seem dumb. And I think he took a golf ball, it was, and did the same thing. And to me, I think the scale was almost the same as it was when I did it. But it's not really about the curvature. That seems like something really stupid to you guys for whatever reason. That was my opinion. That was my view on how circles worked and curvature works. Is that if you match it up with a circle of the globe, that should be about how big the hurricane is and show us how big the Earth is, or that the curvature is a line. So not really saying the storm was fake at all. A lot of people commenting on the video that came from this channel thought that's what I was saying. I was not saying that the storm was fake. The footage of the curvature was fake, and whatever fisheye lens they had to use or whatever they did to pull that off was fake. Even the angle of the sunlight hitting the clouds didn't seem right, and for 7 a.m. in the morning on the East Coast, seemed like the shadows were going the wrong way. Didn't talk about all that, and again, it's not that important. But when I was discussing the footage at the end of my video, I thought I'd included this, but I didn't. This is from another video on our channel. You guys can check it out. I'll leave a link in the description just to show you the deception. The deception is the most important part of this movement because there's a good chance that you're being deceived, and it's for a good reason. And I know it seems like, why on earth would they lie about space, deep space, where we live? Why would the world powers form some sort of treaty, keep us from exploring? Why would they do all these things? Fake getting past the Van Allen belts and all of that. What was the purpose behind all of this? Well, those are good questions. It seems a very innocent lie. To say that we live on a spherical object flying through space seems so innocent. I get that, and I get the anger that you guys have because it sounds really dumb. And it's okay to laugh and and think in your mind, oh my gosh, these people are idiots. How much how high are they? Do they just sit around getting high and going, dude, it looks flat? That's what I thought too. So I get your preconceived notions, but here is some imagery of the stars as seen for the first time from space. Many of you think this is real, and I'm not judging your intelligence for thinking that. When I send this to people, they're like, yeah, it was real. This was the U.S. Air Force showing us this. They're the government. They wouldn't lie. But to me, when I look at it and I see the face in the moon, the two eyes, the nose that are just stars lit up, it reminds me of a light bright that we had when I was a kid. It doesn't look real at all. And if you can see that this is not real, then you can look into further into the deception. If you think this is real, this movement and looking into deception is really not for you. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that in any insulting way. It's just not for you. And then yes, we are crazy, because again, this is this is one of those things that either you see it or you don't. And these stars are pretty. It's pretty good for the technology of their time to make something like this without computer animation. I don't know what they did to produce such imagery, but this was supposedly real footage in 1960, and the Air Force was getting really high up. They were doing some really impressive things. I'm not dissing anyone in the Air Force. My dad was in the Air Force, and I have a lot of respect for people in the Air Force. But when people are above you telling you to do things, you're going to do it. But here's the first one of the first times we saw Earth from space on the Apollo missions. And there's a lot of really good, this has been debunked videos going around about how this has been debunked. But when I looked at it closely and was seeing that this is probably just a round window with an insert, and you can see them remove the insert later, and then looking at the clouds that go across the half of the Earth, I thought, man, that looks odd that the clouds would be that large compared to Earth. That's a very big cloud system moving along. But then, of course, they zoom out, and the Earth changes completely. When they change the camera settings, it's very bright, almost as if they're really close to the Earth. And I thought that was odd, but I took a picture of that Earth from the window, the best quality one I could find, and it looked very familiar, really familiar. And so I compared this Earth to the one that we see on the moon in the background, because this was before computer animation, and people say, how'd they computer animate it? Well, they didn't have to. They were on a set, and the set they were on did not have anything in the background. It was black. So they cut and pasted the picture of the Earth from the window when the clouds were just slightly different than they were. They made it a little fuzzy so you really couldn't see any details. Literally cut it out and pasted it into the background. And that's why there's a box around it. A lot of you say it's JPEG compression. And yes, they did save it onto their computer in JPEG compression. Maybe they saved it as a JPEG. But you see other photos where the JPEG compression story just doesn't line up because of the straight lines. And yes, NASA did go in after they released a video of this when they did it live on the air, showing you the box around the Earth in a newer photo from the moon. And they went in and they cleaned it up, but you can still see the little marks where they went and erased it. It looked like they went in on Microsoft Paint and kind of erased the box. So that's sort of the first time we are seeing Earth. And if that was the first time we're seeing the Earth as a ball, and we all believed it, I believed it, guys, you're not dumb for believing it. I believed we went to the moon. I imagined jumping on the moon and doing all the things they did and how fun it would be. But then you do some more research and you start seeing things like this satellite here. This is 1984, after the Apollo missions. After we made it past the Van Allen belts, we could no longer do that. We lost that technology. So we were just showing constant footage of satellites being launched. They would take the spaceship up to the low Earth orbit and just launch tons of satellites. I don't know how they all fit inside that spaceship, but they did. What you're seeing here is a satellite. I know it looks like a trash can. A lot of you, I'm realizing that when I send this to you, you're going, what am I looking at here? I don't see anything. I see a string right here. The string is what's holding up this fake satellite. And the reason I have a trained eye for this is because I used to watch those old shows where they would actually use strings to hold up props on the film set so that it looked like they were floating. And spotting those strings was fun. And that skill, I never knew how much it would come in handy as I got older. But there's the string. If you can't see it, it might be because you're on a phone right now. You may want to enlarge this, zoom in on a computer so you can see it. And I'm finding that some people just cannot see the string. I don't know why. It might be like that Laurel and Yanny thing where some people heard Yanny, and I don't trust those people because I heard Laurel. It's clear as day. But that's another story. But maybe you just can't see it. This string to me is as obvious as night and day. This is fake. And if they were lying, then there's a reason they're lying. Because they're getting enough money that they should be able to do this if the narrative is true, if the combustion of rocket fuel can get them to 17,500 miles per hour, and that combustion is actually that fast. If that's provable, that'd be great. I'd like to see that as well. However, if it's not possible to do what they're doing, they're going to fake it, and they're going to spend a lot of money doing that and develop some really good technology that we, the general public, is unaware of. So again, this has nothing to do with the curvature of Earth. Earth could be round and they could be lying. All right, I'm not saying it's flat because of all of this stuff. I get that. I understand. You're really angry that I had mentioned that the Earth could be stationary versus flying through space. And so this footage here, again, if you don't see the string, this is looking into deception. Look no more, because you will not see the other stuff. Most likely, you will not see the virtual augmented reality fails. You won't understand the masking effects that go into this, the type of stuff they used in the movie Gravity. You won't understand how this stuff works. It's very high tech, and it's hard to spot sometimes. A lot of things they do, I have no clue how they do it. I don't know. Most of the things they get away with is very impressive. I'm just saying, take a deeper look into the deception. If you can spot the deception, find out why they're lying. And many of you have the viewpoint that, well, even if it's not round, it doesn't affect me at all. I still have to be a slave to my job and work and do all these things. Not really going to affect me. And for the most part, that's true. Okay? I didn't realize that it would do the things it did for me, but for a lot of us, it kind of shatters that whole we're nothing, we're in the middle of nowhere, flying around a giant sun, that we're so distant from anything, we're just a speck of dust. And looking into this and finding out the truth will, in a way, start to set you free, but it's not the ultimate freedom. There's something and there's a message out there that I'm wanting to get to you guys, and it goes beyond the deception, beyond being lied to. And this goes to both of you on either side. When someone is name calling you and hurting your ego, get rid of your ego. Our thoughts, our words, and our actions, they are eternal. When I say something to one of you guys out of hate because you came and said that I'm a dumb flat tart, you know, and it's easy to do, it's easy to get upset. And when you guys say stuff like that, my words to you are eternal. What I say to you will either send you in the opposite direction, where you go to other channels and do the same thing and make fun of people, or it will make you take a deeper look into the fact that you might have just been lied to and deceived your entire life. And this deception has been going on since creation. People have been worshiping false gods, making sacrifices. Even the kings were deceived. When you look at Daniel in the lion's den, the king was deceived. He believed that the statue that he was worshiping was eating food, when in reality there was a hidden door, and the priests were taking their families and going in there and eating the food. And when he found out he was deceived, he got mad, had those people killed, but he had another god that he thought was real. And when Daniel exposed that god as being fake too, guess what? The king was threatened by the people. They were angry. Hey, he destroyed both of our gods. Now what? Guess what? They put him in a den with lions. And Daniel, this is something else. He was woke before it was cool. Those lions did not harm him. They were starving, hungry lions. And they did not harm Daniel. Daniel was protected. And when he came out unharmed, the king was finally like, okay, there's something to this. And that's all we're saying. There's something to this. You just need to look a bit further. We don't hate you. Guys, if people are saying stuff mean to you, do not call them a globetard for believing in the globe. I'm sorry if anyone has ever done that. It's just retaliation, I promise you. And it's just immaturity because they are not aware of the eternal effects of what they say. I do not think you're a globetard for believing in the globe. I know I seem like a flat tard to all of you, and that's okay. I just want you to understand that you're being deceived, and no, not every single scientist is in on it, and there are lots of things you can do to prove all things. I don't want you to take my word for anything or be deceived by me. I could be wrong. I might have been wrong about the hurricane issue and the curvature and all of that. I don't care. It's okay to be wrong as long as I'm not intentionally being wrong and using that deception to further an agenda. Yes, I do have an agenda, and it's not that you believe the earth is flat and stationary. My agenda is for you to find the type of love and joy and freedom from the things of this world that we have found, some of us have found, and been fortunate enough to find. And the pray for your enemy, mentality that gets persecuted so much, and to love your enemy has caused a lot of people to be persecuted. And you guys may seem like you're my enemy. You're not my enemy. There's a different enemy that we are facing. And I love you guys so much, and not because I'm anything special, not because I am a genius and a scientific guru or anything like that. I'm nothing special. I don't deserve the love that I've been shown. I don't deserve the grace that I have been shown. I am nothing. And a lot of you guys who come over here to point that out, I'm thankful you found us. My time left is short on this channel, I'm pretty sure. Hey, I wish that it would stay around longer and I could spend more time with you guys, but you never know what could happen. And so I hope these words reach you guys. You guys are a beloved creation. You're not Stardust Monkey people, I promise. Provably so. If you don't believe me, I can send you some proof that you are created. You are special. You are designed. You are not just nothing. The empty void that you felt has nothing to do with not having material gain. There is something you're missing out on, and it's something we want you to experience. It'll set you free, and it has nothing to do with the shape of the earth. I'm telling you from experience that the Father loves you. There is truth out there, and no, we're not always right. There are major holes on both sides, and we could debate about them all we want. I just want you to take a deeper look and don't be fooled by simple observations like we all were. Okay? I really hope this message reaches you guys. I love you. The Father loves you, and it's not because I'm anything special. It's actually because I'm not anything special that I understand just how great you are and how short our time is together. So thank you all for receiving this message, but I hope this message finds you, and it finds you at a time of need. Thanks for all that you guys are doing and continue to do to spread love. Do not re-attack. It's very easy to retaliate. Send love to anyone on any side of the movement. That's the only way to win. Okay? Thank you guys for receiving this message. The Father loves you very much.